These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with an emergency episode of the How About Them Celtics podcast, recording on Tuesday, November 1st. Here to briefly talk about, Ime Udoka reportedly joining the Brooklyn Nets as their new head coach. The Nets fired Steve Nash this morning in the early hours when I was not awake. I woke up to
early hours. Dude, it was at like noon.
When was it? No, I thought it was at 7. I swear I thought
no, I don't think so. No. I don't even think my friends were still at work. Let's see.
I thought Steve Nash was 7.
What time did I say?
I thought the Udoka thing was around noon, but I thought Nash was earlier. Nash was. Oh, you're right. Nash was at 1. I was wrong.
Boy.
I was awake. I was awake for that. I thought it was earlier.
In the early hours of the day.
I got barraged. My bad. Timing wrong. Anyway, Steve Nash fired by the Brooklyn Nets. Reports quickly coming in after that they are going to hire Ime Udoka as their new head coach, former Boston Celtics coach, suspended for the entirety of the season after having a relationship with a female staff member. Reports have come out. Matt Barnes has talked about how he had to take back what he said about Ime because it's deeper than everyone realizes. Woj's report today notes that Udoka was sending messages, inappropriate messages to a female subordinate staff employee, which is obviously a no-no in the workplace, in any workplace. And Brad Stevens and Whit Grossbeck at their press conference to announce the news, pretty handedly condemned everything Udoka did and stood by their decision. Brad Stevens getting emotional about the treatment of the women in the workplace. And it seems like they just kind of wanted to get this over with and kind of be over the whole Udoka thing. Obviously, Joe Mazzulla's been good. He's done a good job as the interim head coach. I assume that interim could potentially be removed at some point, unless they want to look next season. Celtics getting no compensation in return, not even asking for it. We can talk about that too. But what were your immediate thoughts when you saw the news about Ime Udoka?
Not thrilled.
Yeah.
Not thrilled. Don't love it. I really don't like the no compensation part. Really hate that. Really hate that he's going to join Brooklyn, a division team. I really don't like that we still don't know really what happened. Now, let me say, when we were doing shows a couple months ago when this came out, we knew a little bit. And at the time, it was very fresh and everybody knew what was going on. Now people have had time to sit on it and it may not sting as much or whatever, to where you kind of forget. But at the time, we were all like, all right, this must be pretty serious. Now, I'm having thoughts. I'm thinking to myself, how serious can this be if the Nets are willing to hire him? But then it really becomes a question, is it really not serious, or are the Nets just down that bad?
I think
because we had a conversation today just texting because it happened.
Yeah.
We had to talk about it. And at first, I was pretty hot about it. I'm still not thrilled. Listen, I'm really kind of pissed where he ended up. Don't like that.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything for him. Like, I don't know. And I don't like that we don't really know enough to really judge. It's tough to do these things, at least for me, because I don't know. It depends. There's a lot that goes into it to see a change this drastic. You really should know. I mean, who are we? I mean, we're just fans.
We're not going to
media, I guess.
It's not going to happen.
What are you going to do? But I don't know, man. It's a bummer. Been fine. I would have been fine with it. Minnesota, the Pacers, like some team that doesn't matter. I just don't like that he goes to the Nets, the team he's already got kind of established relationships with the players. They all like him. Like, it's a team that's fun to watch struggle. And don't get me wrong, if you're really against Udoka, then you're going to enjoy watching him struggle if they continue. But if they turn around, it's going to kind of suck, man. You're giving him a free lifeline. It just, I don't know. And I saw a good tweet today in the author, I forget who it was, but he did say the wording was not right. But he's like, the Celtics are almost getting screwed because they decided to do the right thing and Brooklyn's capitalizing. But he went back and said getting screwed isn't the right term. But he's got somewhat of a point to where, they're doing the right thing, and what they believe is the right thing, and what we're led to believe is the right thing as outsiders. And they're losing a coach that led them to the finals or letting them go. And they're not getting anything back. And Brooklyn's getting a coach that led a team to a finals last year after firing their coach that seemed to be just kind of a puppet, or he was there. I mean, Kyrie Irving, who's his own cup of tea right now, was saying they don't even feel like they need a coach before he was even hired, or when he immediately got hired. It was right around when he got hired. It's a messy situation. It's tough to talk about because you don't know everything, and you say the wrong thing. Oh boy, people get mad. But I don't know. My initial reaction, I'm just not thrilled. I'm not thrilled. I don't like that they let it just feels like they let Brooklyn get something for free. And the teams, from a basketball standpoint, are just too close for that. That's a team that's in your division. That's a team that may be the second best team in the division by the end of the season, or the best team. Who knows? They might be the worst. Who knows? I mean, right now they are. But you're giving them help for nothing. It doesn't come without baggage, but you're giving them help.
I mean, I'll say this. I tweeted this out. The fact that the Celtics were willing to let Ime Udoka walk without compensation to a divisional rival like the Nets should tell you all you need to know about the situation. Like the fact that they willingly let him go without asking for anything in return tells you A, how bad the situation probably was in Boston, which, like Sam said, we won't really know, and B, that they just want to scrub their hands of this. That's how messy the Ime Udoka situation was, that they didn't even want to ask for a second round pick in return. The Sixers got penalized 2 second round picks for,
Whatever will they do?
Yeah, for getting PJ Tucker and Daniel House, and I can't think of the word right now, but the Celtics didn't even want to try to get a second in return for Ime Udoka. Would they get a first for Doc Rivers back in the day?
I think it was a second.
Well,
Could be
something,
wrong.
and they
They
didn't even want to negotiate. They just let him walk. The fact that happens, that should tell you how done they are with the Ime Udoka drama, and how, I mean, in a sense, probably how confident they are in Joe Mazzulla moving forward, which I'm happy with Mazzulla. I personally don't want anything to do with Udoka anymore, from the reports that we've heard from Woj talking about inappropriate text to the advances that Shams reported on that the woman in the organization felt uncomfortable with, to Matt Barnes's harrowing story of I spoke on it, and then him going back and taking all of that back because he realized how bad the situation was. All of this leads to a mess. And I've seen a lot of speculation today when the news came out about, oh, why didn't they just fire him in the first place? Because if you fire him in the first place, that leads to an immediate legal battle. But if you suspend him, it gives you time to build a case, and then you can get into that legal battle if you do want to fire him. Plus, by suspending him first and building that case and figuring things out, you don't immediately lose all that money. So from a business perspective, it always made the most sense to just suspend him and figure it out from there. And that's exactly what the Celtics did. Now, if you want to get on the topic of the Nets, Sean Marks saying today that I'm certainly not proud of the situation we're in.
I got to tell you, that's one of the greatest quotes I've seen. I was driving home and I saw you retweet it, and I just started laughing because the team is such a mess right now. You've got Udoka coming in, and whatever you think of that, I don't know what I think of it yet. I don't. From what we know, and you went through the details real well there, and the Matt Barnes thing is real telling because he knows something. Now the only thing I felt about that, and I think I said this to you, I was like, well, they have to know what he knows, and they're hiring him. But then again, they could just be very well down bad, which I said already. Well, they could be in just a horrible situation. Marks came out today and said it. You continue.
My thing is, the Nets organization right now, I quote tweeted the Sean Marks thing that you're referencing, and I said the Nets organization just gets more embarrassing by the minute. You have a player who is promoting anti-Semitic remarks, going from literally 30 seconds earlier saying, I love having the platform where people can listen to me, to 2 seconds later, Nick Friedel, is that his name, pressing him on the subject, and him saying, people don't need to listen to my platform. I just say whatever I want. Like, two very contradicting statements. The organization doing nothing about it, and the Players Association coming up with some BS statement today, not naming anybody. Reggie Miller was just talking about it on the TNT broadcast of the Bulls Nets game I was watching, and he said the Players Association has done a great job in recent years condemning, the Donald Sterling situation, getting him out of the league, getting Robert Sarver speaking out about that. But as soon as one of their own players does it, they don't even name him in the condemnation statement. It's a double-edged sword, and Kyrie's just getting away with all of this horrible propaganda at this point. I said this the last time. I remember vividly. I can't remember if it was this the past episode we just did or 2 episodes ago. We brought up Kyrie, and I don't even have anything to say.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, it's just he's ridiculous. He is gross. I have no other thoughts on Kyrie other than the Nets are a terrible organization for not doing anything other than Joe Tsai tweeting out a useless message saying Kyrie Irving needs to be better. You're the owner, then do something. Don't like you are the owner of the team and you're condemning a player on Twitter, but there's no action like consequences for his actions on the court. It doesn't make any sense. And now you're going to go hire Ime Udoka after all of these allegations. I saw a tweet and it was essentially, how do the women in that organization feel? Like this is not a good message to send to all of the women you employ in the organization. We're going to fire Steve Nash, which irrelevant to the situation in my opinion. But we're going to bring in a coach who was suspended for an entire season because of an inappropriate relationship he had with a woman within the organization that he just worked for. Like that just sends the message to all the women in your organization, and excuse my language, they're like, hey, fuck you guys, we're signing this coach. Like that's just so awful. It's just an awful move by Sean Marks, by Joe Tsai. It's a terrible look. I saw something tweeted out saying, oh, what I wonder what happens next. Maybe the Nets will sign Josh Primo, Miles Bridges, and John Isaac. Like they'll just get the whole gang together out there in Brooklyn. Like they're an absolute mess. They employ one of the most controversial and horrible players in the business who at the same time wants a platform to promote everything that he wants to promote, but wants none of the consequences of that promotion, and then gets mad at a reporter for calling it promotion. And now they're going to bring in a head coach who reportedly had an inappropriate relationship with a female staff member. It's a complete mess of an organization. They're a complete embarrassment to the NBA right now. And I'm glad that the Celtics have washed their hands of Ime Udoka and not getting anything in return. I understand it's frustrating because on the court, he was a good coach and he did something great with the team that he had. But like I said at the start of this whole rant, the fact that they were willing to just let him walk should tell you how bad the situation probably was in Boston.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Sam was messing with his mic that whole rant, but yeah, I can hear you.
I didn't know if it was working. Well, when I was tapping it, nothing was coming up. So I was just like, he's going to say he can't hear me, and then we're going to go. So here I am.
No,
I'm
you're
following
good.
Jack, talking about horrible things. And I'm saying, hey, is my mic on? Yeah, it's on.
I could hear the taps.
You could? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I should have known you were making faces, but it wasn't giving me levels.
I got you. But sorry, my rant took a while. So
your rant was fine. I was like, good, he's buying me time. I can fix this. But it's crazy. If you're the Nets at this point, I tell you, lean into it. You're in this far. No. No, because you're in this far. Why not sign those other guys? I mean, you're obviously trying to win at all costs. You're so afraid of all this money you're pouring into. You're pouring into the Kyrie and Durant, and you're like, oh, they're just sitting here. Okay, we're gonna bring in Udoka, who everyone thinks is a bad guy. All right. I mean, you got all these other guys. They're sitting there unemployed, man. I mean, they want to hoop.
No.
I cut that.
No, I'm not gonna cut it. It's just they're like I said, they're an embarrassment right now, and it's not a good look for the NBA. I saw someone, I don't know, tweet out or
if
put
they
out
went out and win. If they went out and won, do you think people would still talk about it? I don't think so. Or they would bring it up, but people wouldn't care.
There are certain groups of people that wouldn't care because they won, and those are the people that I'm not a fan of, that I don't like, because it's like, this is the sort of thing where it's, how they say bigger than basketball for stuff like Bill Russell. This is the opposite end of bigger than basketball. This is the heinous, terrible end of bigger than basketball, because all the stuff going on in Brooklyn right now is much bigger than basketball for all of the terrible reasons. And they're kind of looking idly by and just letting it happen. It's like what happened last year. The Brooklyn Nets made a statement, this big statement. They were the the pride of the NBA. They're not letting Kyrie Irving play because he's not going to get vaccinated, and then they start losing and they fold. It's like that's exactly what's happening. They started losing, so they folded, and they're going to hire a guy who was accused of having an inappropriate relationship and sexually harassing women in the workplace. And so they said, oh, if he's going to give us a better chance to win, then we're just not going to look at that part. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That's what I have to say about the Brooklyn Nets. And I said this a million times so far in the show. I understand frustration, not getting anything back, but I'm very happy the Celtics are done with the situation. I'm very glad they washed their hands. I saw a take on Twitter that said the Celtics have some explaining to do.
I saw that. People were really mad at that.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. What explaining do the Celtics have to do? They followed the business rule book. They did everything by the book. They did everything that makes sense in the situation they were put in. And then they just let him walk because they wanted to scrub their hands. And then the takeaway is not, what are the Nets doing? It's man, the Celtics really like it doesn't make sense. And
That's
I
fine.
understand.
You put it
I
like
understand
that,
as
yeah.
their
But I think they have a little bit of explaining to, because I sure would like to know what happened.
okay, yeah.
I would
Well,
like to know more about what happened, because I think this is a big wrench to throw into everything. Now you're sending him to a rival team. He's not a bum. He's not going to go. I don't think he's going to go there and fail per se. They
no.
might not be world beaters or whatever, but I'm sure they're not going to suck. He's better than Nash. You're giving a rival team a good asset for nothing. They obviously don't care about the baggage coming with him. They've got Kyrie, who's over there running his mouth and doing all
Embarrassing.
kinds of stuff. Like, I think they should have to explain something. We as fans, as outsiders, want to know what's going on. Why now? You're cool with it. You're accepting of it. You're happy he's gone. You don't want to deal with it anymore, which is fair enough. You're not in the wrong per se, but I'm just curious. I'm curious what's going on. Why are you throwing a wrench? Now we know why, but we don't know specifically why they're throwing a wrench into a championship roster. The coach being part of the roster. I mean, you're giving him away. You're for nothing.
And I understand that perspective of curiosity and not knowing, and everything went so well last year. It must have been really bad. And as fans and as media, you feel like not even like you feel like you have the right, but you just want to know what happened.
You
So you
want to
can have some
know.
sort of closure.
That's part of the
But
reason why we do this thing. We're curious, man. We're nosy. That's why we're
of
in
course,
this
but
field.
But from a legal perspective, like if you really want to get into it from a legal perspective, they can't. Like the Celtics can't say anything. That was probably the most closed off press conference you've ever heard from
Yep.
Whit
I
Grosbeck
watched it.
And Brad Stevens, and that's because legally speaking, they had to hire a legal team to come in and investigate the situation, and they cannot leak, probably per the contractor agreement they signed, leak any of this to the media. And that's why you hear it from Matt Barnes. And if a player like that, like Matt Barnes, like someone who has really no ties to the situation, no reason not to leak it, doesn't say something, I feel like that gives you some insight into probably how heinous and bad the situation is. And again, I've said it a million times, because I do completely understand the wanting an explanation of what happened, because they didn't get anything in return, and they're just letting this, who on the court, great coach, walk away to a divisional rival. But I'm going to keep coming back to the argument and the thing I tweeted out, that if they're willing to let him walk for nothing, then that probably gives you some indication of how bad it actually was. And as frustrating as it is to not have closure, I think that's as good of an explanation as we're going to get. And that's we might just have to live with that thought in our head. That's at least how I'm processing it.
I think your explanation is very good, but I need it. I need to know. Because I don't like it. I don't like it. On a basketball level, I hate it. I understand. It's bigger than basketball. Yeah, I mean, you can't.
It is.
You can't be making it toxic for other people, making them uncomfortable, whatever. And from everything we've heard and that came out, and it sounds like that was part of it, and he was going across lines, and it's just crazy. When it first came out, it was he was having a relationship with somebody, and now we're hearing all these different things. So I guess we have to believe what we're hearing, but I don't know.
Yep.
We don't know. I want to hear it. I want to know. You're giving this guy away, man. He's not a bum. He's an asset.
No.
You're giving to a rival for free.
He's not a bum on the court. He seems like a bum off the court, which again, take with that what you will. But
yeah, I mean,
it's frustrating.
This sucks, also, man. I can't even make jokes.
No, I mean, speaking of jokes,
I want to so bad, not like real like bad jokes, but just the normal jokes I would make.
I mean,
it's tough.
Speaking of jokes, Brooklyn Netcast. Have you seen that account on Twitter? It's like the three, the orange, it's like a stop.
I've seen all kinds of stuff today of people saying like 2 days ago he should never coach again. Now they're oh, he's the greatest.
October 27th, Brooklyn Netscast saying Udoka shouldn't have a job anywhere. And then today tweeted best day ever and let's go with a picture of him and KD. And then they made their account private. So that should tell you how great Nets fans are processing.
But that's how I would feel. It
Sure.
sounds. I would feel the same way. I'd be like, this is the greatest. We're in a hole and we're getting this guy and he led a team to a championship. I am so bad in where like I forget about the other things. It's not that I don't care about them. It's just not what I think about. It's absolutely part of it. And you're
from a basketball level, Udoka will probably make that team better. Or I won't even say that. Also, like, he has a better chance to make that team better than Nash did because he's a new voice. But if I'm the Nets, let me rephrase. If I'm a morally sound Nets fan, then I'm not happy with the situation. And you can argue how many of those are there because they've been dealing with Kyrie. And I mean, props to, I don't know if you saw
There's
those.
truth to that. And
I
there are
don't know if you saw the
situations where I would
kids.
feel that way.
I don't know if you saw the kids in the front row courtside the
I
other night wearing
did.
the
Good for
anti-Semitism.
them.
Good for them.
Money well spent. It
I
only
think the
cost you
NBA,
$5,000.
yeah, the NBA, honestly, it might come to a point where the NBA needs to investigate this Udoka thing, because if it was that bad, he shouldn't be coaching in the league. And
Well, that's a good
it's
point too. Is should they care more? Should the league
yeah, I
care
mean,
more? Because
the
they
league
don't
should
care
care
about the
more.
Kyrie thing that much because they're just letting it go. They're not even
Yeah,
naming him in the statement, like you said.
the
That's a
league's in a
really great
spot.
point.
Yeah,
If here I am saying they should go and investigate him now he's not on the team.
I think they
Classic.
should investigate him as soon as it happened. And I think the Celtics did the
It
good
is weird that they
first
didn't
step.
though.
Yeah, I think the Celtics did a good first step by suspending him. And the league should have stepped in before he got the chance to get a new job. And it's a testament again to the Nets' morality that they're willing to sign a guy who has all these accusations. And the league should absolutely step in, just like the MBPA and the league should step in with the Kyrie thing. But they're not gonna. So
Have you seen the Jaylen Brown stuff today?
yeah,
The
he
speculation that
liked.
he's not a big fan.
Yeah, I saw reports from, I don't know where it came from, maybe TMZ, but saying that a player snitched on Udoka. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't see
Um,
this.
yeah, it was like a friend of
Oh.
Nia saying that the speculation is a player snitched on Udoka. And then obviously Jaylen Brown posted the news to his story. He also liked a couple tweets about
This
it.
is going to be
So-
some documentary down the road.
Yeah, some speculated that Jaylen Brown, was mad that he's gone. Some say happy he's gone. Some saying he's just like ready to get to work and beat Udoka. Grant Williams also liked to tweet about the news. I was looking at the Twitter feed and seeing who liked what. What do you think? Do you think Jaylen Brown's happy that he's gone? I feel like they never got along too well.
See, I lean that way.
Probably it. Yeah.
At first, when I saw him post like on his story, like the people sharing on Twitter that he
Instagram,
posted that on his story, I felt a little differently. I was like, oh, all right, like I guess they were
I initially
tight or
thought he
whatever.
yeah, that's what I thought initially.
But then I started seeing all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe it's the opposite. And I saw somebody reply to a tweet about the story with the Rip Bozo picture and saying that's his version of it. Is putting that
Yeah.
up, which
I
is
also saw that.
one of my favorite of all the memes.
It's a great meme.
that-
Did you see when my favorite
the
this is off
Embiid one
topic.
was the greatest.
Yeah, that was the
when
best
Simmons
one.
got traded and he tweeted and
was
he was
so
like, I don't know, like I just thought he was looking sharp, man. Like
Oh,
I
I love
looked
Embiid.
good.
I love Embiid. He's amazing.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
like him
sorry,
when he's not
continue.
flopping around, dude, but he's hilarious.
True.
Guy's real funny.
Very true. Very true. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to mention, but I can't remember.
I'll tell you
at
what,
this
with
moment.
Halloween yesterday, I have been eating a bunch of like junk food. Not junk food, but it seems like every day I find a way to have like a sweet. I'm not big on the candy corn.
Love candy corn.
I'm not someone that's gonna like I always like kind of get annoyed like when people like latch onto the crutch of saying like, oh, like you're so weird if you like that, like the pineapple on pizza thing. They're see, Reese's are fire.
Reese's are fire.
Reese's may be my favorite candy, but people like that ostracize things just because it's like kind of mainstream to do it, and like like I hate you if you put pineapple on pizza. Like you probably haven't tried it. I haven't tried it.
Pineapple on pizza is fire.
Yeah, see, it probably is.
Fire.
I like pineapple. I'm a big pineapple fan, so I probably would like it. But candy corn, I just don't like it. I'd rather, if I'm gonna have candy, I'd rather have something else. But back to it, like I've recently started a new job, and it seems like at this new job they always have stuff. There's always like little candies out you can have. They had like these cookies that got brought in. There was one day I went out to lunch with a friend from my old job. We met for like a sandwich, and I was like, like I'm not gonna stuff myself. I don't want to be full at work. I go back to work. There's a cake, so I have a piece of cake because I have no self-control, and then I have they had trail mix there that day, so I had some of that. And then I'm sitting at my desk. They're like, "All right, we got gourmet cookies and milk in the break room." So I am at like the all-time like I'm just eating like crap all the time. Like I'm like making myself not eat like anything sweet today. So I have like a bowl. No one trick or treats at our house, so there's just a bowl of candy downstairs, dude. I'm just looking at it. It's all tough. The small candies. It's easy to eat the small candies. You can't commit to a big thing. It's easier to commit to like a little like piece of chocolate like this big than to like a cookie or something like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
It was my birthday last week, so I had to have cake. Like, dude, I cannot get away from this stuff. Yesterday, I had a donut. Like, come on, man. It's killing me. And then my knee was bugging me for a while. So I was like, oh, man, I'm not going to be able to run. And I'm going to get fat now. But it feels better, so I'm okay.
That's tough.
Sam hates fat people. No, I like the way I am in shape. I feel good about myself.
You're allowed not to want to be. You're allowed to want to be in a certain shape. That's fair.
I like being in shape, man. I was scared. So I'm making myself not eat candy today. It's very, very trying.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I say it trying, but
You've been grinding. You've been on the treadmill.
I have been. I need to get back on it. I don't like doing it when there's people at home. Like, I don't like walking on the treadmill because it's in the living room, right? Like,
Okay,
I don't want to do it while people are watching TV. Like, I'm not going to just be chilling.
No, I get it. I
try to do it when everyone's away, but people have been
Dude, just go for a walk outside. Just go for a walk.
Yeah, no, I have a short attention span though. I like to watch my show and like do stuff and like work.
Like listen to a podcast while you walk. That's
I know.
That's one of the best things.
Yeah.
I don't do when I run outside, it's very difficult for me to listen to like a show or something. I don't know why. So I always listen to music. But if I'm on the treadmill, for whatever reason, I can do a podcast there. But I can't do it.
See,
when
that's what I'm like too. Like if I'm driving, like I'll listen to a podcast because it's like you can do it at the same time. But you're right. I love how we just like seamlessly transitioned into like candy and podcasts and
I had to.
Stuff.
You didn't know what you were gonna say, and I was like, "Listen, I got one for you today."
No, you're good. You're good.
I got to start writing this stuff down. But the candy thing's tough, man. It's a tough time of year.
Is.
You get Halloween. You're gonna have the holidays.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I'll tell you what. I understand the treadmill thing because when I first started going to like a real like Planet Fitness, I was like, "Oh, dude, like I don't want to go to gym. People there is weird." But it's not. I don't know if you ever go, it's not weird. It's just like you just
I feel like I'd be fine in a gym setting, but doing it in like my
that makes sense. You don't want to be in the way.
Not a fan. So
dude, go outside, touch grass.
I think you're right. That might be the vibe. I'll try that out.
Nice. Anything else you want to say? You go around. No, I don't have a lot.
We did enough. This was an emergency podcast, not a full.
We did a good job. We did like 27 minutes minus the 2 minutes where I had to leave and then come back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right.
You guys just can't get enough of us. We'll be back tomorrow too. We got the pregame, then I think we're planning on a Thursday recording. Oh boy, you guys are gonna have all kinds of us.
Plenty of podcasts. We appreciate the listenership and stuff. Make sure to rate, like, subscribe, and before I step on his toes anymore, I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on YouTube, watching on Guy Boston or How About Them Celtics Pod. If you are, make sure you subscribe to either one. Leave a like, leave a comment. Love reading the comments. I'll be in there. Leaving a like myself boosts the numbers. You got to juice a little bit, right? If you're on any streaming service, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you follow us there. Leave a review, say some nice things, or be mean. I don't know. Maybe you want to be mean. Not a lot of people mean in the comments.
No, it's pretty nice.
You can say mean things. Just give a good rating so other people listen to it. But yeah, if you like what we do, you can follow us. If you want more podcast stuff, follow How About Them C's on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You'll get small clips of us chatting it up in case you don't have a half hour to sit there and listen to us blab or, maybe longer. We usually do like an hour or try to.
Yeah.
But good short ones. Taze was about Pritchard and how he's kind of a tragic individual right now. Tough for him.
Not his fault in the rotation.
His fault, which makes it even more tragic.
You say tragic, which makes it sound
tragedy
like
as if it's a play.
I got you. Yeah.
But if you want any of Jack's work, which I discovered was mainstream today when I quote tweeted the news you might have seen about Grant Williams getting interest from the Pistons, Orlando, and I don't know who the last team was. Spurs. And maybe getting upwards of $17 million came from a Jack article.
Yes,
little did I know, but of course I had to plug them in. Neither one of us are thrilled they didn't extend them. But if you want Jack's work, at Jack Simone NBA on Twitter, he's there. He's tweeting during the games furiously. If you want my input, I tweet less, but I still tweet at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's our show for today. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.